they perform regularly? Do they have place to perform regularly?
Not that regularly. If we get sort of 3 or 4 public performances a year, we're doing quite well. As I say, that's an added extra. That's an added bonus. We don't do this to be a performing group. We do it as a community activity, and because we all enjoy it. I don't charge them anything for this. I don't get paid to do this. This is my labour. We get paid to do gigs. If we perform, we expect to be paid at least expenses and maybe a bit extra, and that's fine.
And the Belgian embassy would say to you, thank you so much.
I enjoy it. I mean, I kind of went so far with my musical and academic career, and then it kind of fell away. Doing this, I mean, I happily do it for nothing, because this feeds a part of my soul. This is not being fed by anything else, if that makes sense to you. I think probably will to some people. I love doing this. I love playing gamelan. I also like the opportunity to sort of share some of what I know with other people and not let it just sort of fade away in my memory. I kind of made this point some years ago, writing in Cele notes, which again you've presumably come across. You're going to be talking to people involved in that, and that's actually been quite important as the glue that binds the British Gamelan community together. Was that we had this magazine, again being run as a labour of love by people who weren't being paid for it, and you know, quite a lot of us used to write things for it, again for free, just to help, you know, nurture the gamelan community. You go to Indonesia and you sit and play with a gamelan group. Apart from Isi, the one I used to go and play with regularly was at a guy called Pak Hardi, who was a very, very noted teacher of gamelan in Jogja. He was involved with the Pak Walaman and RRI Jogja gamelans. He's now passed away, unfortunately. He had the most amazing mind for gamelan I ever encountered. You play something for him on Sunday, and we had a 4-hour session at his house on a Sunday afternoon. And I go for my lesson the next week, and you know, I was studying Gender with him, but I played Bonang in his group. And I'd say, you know, oh, by the way, was it okay, the Bonang part, because I wasn't too sure of that. And he'd go, oh, Mas Tim, yeah, that's fine. Get the Gudang Garam credit, you'd always have going. But, there you go, you know. When we played Gening Titipati, the third time we went through the Ingar in Irama Willet, you played this, Sakara, and he played it note for note what I'd done. Now, I know that's what I played because that's the only Sakaran I knew for that note. And you go, but you see, that doesn't fit because the Ribab's doing this and the Gender's doing that, so you need to do this to fit in. I became aware at that point that, you know, I thought I was doing well being here, and here was a guy up here with his ability to perceive and understand everything that was happening in the gamelan and remember it days later. It was just amazing. And I had big collections of notation that I used to play with his group. I bring them back to this country, and you sort of hand them out to a group here, and people say, what does the Sarampanarus do here? And you kind of look at it and go, I don't know. I didn't play Sarampanarus. And that's the point at which I become aware, again, what this gap is between the really good Javanese players and me. You know, that notation that you acquire in Java or Bali or wherever has this, it's like the Layak. It can't cross salt water. You know, you bring it home to England and you look at it again, you think, I don't understand this anymore. because I've taken it out of the group support. Again, one of the incredible things about gamelan is that you have a kind of group competence. It's never down to one individual. I mean, okay, if you're the person who's teaching the rest of them to some extent, you're turning them all into clones of you, of the way you think and play. But playing in Java, even playing with a sort of good ad hoc group in this country, or with I'm sure it happens with the South Bank as well. You know, you're doing your thing, and there are people doing their thing on another instrument that's better than you would be if you were playing that. So you, again, it's. I'm not making much sense here. It's all getting a bit vague. It's true of any music, but particularly of gamelan, that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And you benefit from, you know, the further you go with it, the more everybody kind of supports and builds up everybody else. So it's not, it doesn't feel that it's like me plus him plus him plus her. It's me times him, times her. And you get this great satisfaction of being among people who are doing it differently from you. But that makes it an enriching and stimulating experience. In that sense, it's a bit like good jazz, in the way that jazz improvisers can come together and they will, you know, they understand that they're playing this standard number that they all know, but they're doing different things with it, and they're feeding off each other. Again, you get that feeling that doesn't happen so much in Western classical music. You have other things that are satisfying about Western classical music. I'm not saying it's worse, but you know, you have more of this sort of group improvisation feel that is something you're not doing. One of my players, actually my nephew, and he's hopefully will be starting a music degree next year. He's again been trained very much as a Western classical musician, but he also does gamelan. You know, I never had the chance to do that when I was his age, so he's you know, luckier in a way that he started a lot earlier. He started playing fairly young. I think he was about 12, 13 when he started playing, and he's picked it up very quickly. He's a very good drummer, actually. He's excellent sense of rhythm. He also has that the ability that, you know, a good conductor or a good gamelan drummer has to sort of lead from the front and sort of take responsibility for the whole thing and hold people together. You know, and it's really interesting seeing him develop as a gamelan musician. As well. And my own daughter, who's now 12, loves singing. So she's been singing with the gamelan since she was about 8. She sort of wants to not professionally to any great level, but wants to pursue Sindanan as a part of her culture, as it were. As I say, has an Indonesian mother, so there's a sense for her that again, it's very interesting seeing this develop. That for me, as a Westerner going to study gamelan, my approach to it and my relationship with the music is different from hers. Growing up with gamelan, growing up with parents who play half Indonesian, you know. She's going to have a different relationship with the music from mine, and in the same way that some of the Indonesian people in the group. We have again, you get an interesting sort of, not complete cross-section, but quite a variety among the Indonesian community outside Indonesia. We've had a couple of people who played with the group. One was from Jogja originally, another one who was from the Kraton Surakarta, who's related to the Susuhunan. And we've got people who are ethnic Chinese from Jakarta, who'd never played gamelan before in Indonesia. I'd only taken it up in this country. So in a way, their relationship with gamelan may be a bit more like mine, in that they're coming to it as an outsider. We've got people from Sunda also playing, and again, that's slightly different. But again, I may be kind of going off on a big tangent here and another subject, but the way in which Javanese culture and Balinese culture as well have come to stand as a kind of Indonesian national culture outside the country, where, those of us who've lived in Indonesia know that it's not quite like that. So you've ended up with, the way that, in a way, another strange analogy. Scotland. Very few people in Scotland ever wore kilts or came from the Highlands. They're a minority within Scotland. But the man with the kilt and the bagpipes and this has come to stand as the recognisable image of Scotland for the rest of the world, even though it isn't actually a representative one. In the same way, you have the Javanese gamelan, Balinese gamelan and dance standing for the whole of Indonesia. In a way that they don't sort of cover or represent the cultures of the country as a whole.